Hello and welcome to That Man. That is my merchandise, and today we're going to look at my haul for September 2021. Now this is a little bit of a small haul, and the reason being is that I just haven't read much manga or light novels. Also the fact that, well, everything I ordered got delayed into October, so I expect that to be a bit of a bigger haul. So let's have a look and see what I've got, shall we?
That Man and his manga.
We're going to start off incredibly strong with what is considered a masterpiece, and that is Aria the Masterpiece Volume 7. Now, as you guys are probably aware, I started picking up Aria the Masterpiece late last year, around September time. I started buying them, and I pretty much got all of them rather quickly. There was only 2 volumes that I didn't get, and that was Volume 5 and Volume 7. And I recently found out that all of Aria is now considered out of print, which is quite surprising because this one only released in February this year. That's right. And the others, including Volume 5, only released last year. So to have these out of print already came as quite a surprise. So I thought, you know, I'll pick up Volume 7 while I can, and then almost immediately afterwards, Right Stuff Entertainment announced that they were going to reprint all of Aria for a final print run, with the kind of a feeling of threatening that this will never get another reprint. So I'm now having to pay for Right Stuff prices. I'm now having to pay £50 to £60 just to import Volume 5, because I can't not have the last volume. It seems silly to not have it. Now, this is in every aspect a masterpiece. There is a huge reason why this one is well received in the manga community. It's absolutely adored by just about everybody who reads it, and the anime also holds up rather well. I'm really looking forward to checking this one out. Hopefully I can get Volume 5 sooner rather than later, so I can just binge the whole thing. Next up is a Volume 2 of a series that I started picking up a few months ago, and it's one that I've been really excited for to arrive, and that is Volume 2 of Fist of the North Star. Now, this is a series that's been going on for, well, I say going on, it ended quite some time ago. It was released back in the 80s, and we're finally getting a nice hardcover version, very similar to the JoJo editions that obviously nearly every single shelf seems to have. Every time I go into a manga store, every time I go into a bookstore, there's always shelves of JoJo. Hopefully we'll get this same treatment for Fist of the North Star, and honestly I love this series so much. I always kind of had that like attraction to it. It always looked like it was a series that I was going to enjoy no matter what, and you know what, I really enjoyed my time with it. I would really recommend you guys check it out if you ever do get the chance. Next up is a series that I read quite some time ago, and I'm now starting to reread it, and it's one that I mentioned last month that I wanted to get a few volumes of, and I managed to pick up Volume 2. That's right, I managed to get Volume 2 of Classroom of the Elite. Now, to a lot of people in the light novel community, this is the pinnacle of the light novel medium. And it's a series that I read Volume 1 and Volume 2, and I kind of had a decent time with it. In fact, Volume 2 kind of put me off when I read it last year. I wasn't inclined to read any further on. But now that 7 Seas have announced Season 2 of Classroom of the Elite, I thought I'd give it another try. And my initial plan was I was going to get Volume 1 and Volume 2 and Volume 3 physically, and then I'd start reading them. However, I managed to get Volume 2, but I'm kind of holding back on reading it, and the reason being is I just can't find Volume 4, 4.5 or Volume 5 anywhere at all. And I kind of feel it's a little bit silly to kind of start reading these, get all really excited, and then have to jump between physical and digital. It also doesn't make any sense for me to start buying these physically and then read them digitally because I can't find them. So I'm going to hold off a little bit in terms of reading this one, or at least rereading it. But I kind of have, I've already read Volume 1 and Volume 2. Like I said, this is purely just something I kind of want to have on my shelf, and I just kind of want to give it another try and give you guys that review, because hey, I know you guys, every single time I talk about light novels, you guys are just like, have you read Classroom of the Elite? Yes, I've read Volume 1 and Volume 2. I own Volume 1, 2 and 3 physically. Next up is another series that, again, I started reading last year and I had a really good time with it. However, after that, I just couldn't find Volume 2. I put an open order for Volume 2 for whenever it came back in stock, and it finally came back in stock. I finally managed to track down a copy of Volume 2 of Watercoy, Love is Hard for Otaku. Now, it is a little bit of a dented one, it has been a bit damaged in the post, but hey, I'm just glad that I can finally own this one at a reasonable price. This one, it is a josei, which is a series that's more targeted towards adult girls. But, you know, I actually find that I'm really enjoying josei titles a little bit more than actual shonen titles sometimes. There seems to be a lot of more adult themes in there. Well, of course, it's targeted towards adults, but I feel like there's seem to be a little bit more grounded in reality. Titles like this, Tokyo Tareba Girls and Princess Jellyfish, I'm absolutely adoring. So I'm looking forward to actually sitting down and reading this. And of course, volumes 3, 4 and 5 will be soon in my collection. I can't wait. Next up is the series I started buying a few months ago and I really got back into it. It's such an easy read and, you know, it's one that I absolutely adore every time I pick it up. It is Teasing Master Takakisan, and this one is just the story about a boy and a girl. She likes to tease him and he gets all flustered and nervous, but you can tell that there's a bit of a romantic relationship going between them. It's just a fun series and, you know, I always have a good time when I read it. So I thought, you know, I'd like to own this one physically, so I'm very slowly starting to pick these up. Like I said, I just read volume 6 the other day. I loved it. I haven't actually put an order in for volume 7 because I'm actually going to a place that does tend to have 3 for 2 on every single manga. And because 7, 8, 9 onwards, they are more recent, I'm kind of hoping that they're going to have some stock of this particular series so I can just buy them all cheaply. I think this is going to be the same with Watercoy and Cells at Work and a few other titles. I'm going to try and splurge a little bit since I haven't really bought much recently, and I am now starting to get back into reading manga. But yeah, if you like Uzaki-chan, if you like a few of these teasing anime, teasing manga, I would recommend checking this one out. It's a lot more cute and a lot more adorable than the other ones, but it's still worth your time checking it out. Next up is the other light novel I bought this month, and it's one that I actually read straight away. As soon as I picked it up, I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to read it. It's the next on my list, and I actually enjoyed my time with it. This is what I will cover in another video later on when it comes to Monster Girl month, but for now, we're going to briefly talk about if the RPG world had social media. Now, this is not an isekai. That's right, it's not an isekai. It's a straight up fantasy with a bit of a hook that, well, everybody communicates via social media, and it kind of works. It's one of these ones where nearly every other page is just kind of walls of, well, text messages and stuff like that, and I thought that was quite a unique twist, and I kind of enjoyed my time with this one. I'm holding Nobron because, of course, yeah, I really enjoyed my time with this one, and it was one that, I mean, I'm not going to turn around and go, oh, well, you need to stop everything and buy this one, but it's one that I feel like a lot of people will enjoy. It's got a lot of fun aspects of it. I really liked a lot of the characters, and it's one that I'm really looking forward to talking about a little bit more in the near future. Go check out that video when it does pop up. Make sure you're subscribed and ring that bell. Next up is another series that I absolutely love, and it was one of the main ones that I wanted to pick up this month, and that is Volume 7 of Plussized Elf. Now, as I mentioned in my top 50 manga, I don't know what it is I love about this series. It is pretty unashamed in itself, but, you know, you can do a lot worse. This is about a young man who discovers that elves and orcs and everything else is all kind of real. However, they're all trapped on our side of the world because, well, they've eaten too much. For example, the elf in this one, she likes fries and she eats too many fries and she can't go back. It's all a bit nonsense, it's all a bit etchy, but you know what? The artwork on this one is absolutely fantastic, and personally, I'm going to say, this is probably my favourite Monster Girl series at the moment. Just about everything about this is just pure fun. And I like the fact that it's an exercise series as well, on top of the fact that it's, well, an ecchi and it's a Monster Girl series. So if you're wanting a new Monster Girl series, I would 100% recommend this one. It's just a huge amount of fun, and you might even learn some exercises that you can do at home. Next up, it's time to look at what I've been spending my YouTube money on. And of course, I've got invested in the channel. With Monster Girl month coming, I thought I'd check out, well, something new. And so I picked up Does a Hot Elf Live Next Door to You? No, they do not live next door to me. I don't really have much idea what this is about, except I know it's going to be one of those ecchi comedies. It says on the back it's actually an isekai. So yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be a reverse isekai. You know, the isekai we don't normally see. But I'm looking forward to checking it out. I mean, it can't be as bad as that last one I bought last year. Oh no, that was terrible. What have I done? Next up is volume 100 of a certain series, and well, that series is One Piece. As if there was any doubt, there's not many other series that have reached volume 100. And honestly, I was so excited once this got announced to actually own it. I mean, the fact that I've got a series that has 100 volumes in my collection absolutely astounds me. It's just the fact that this series of all series has managed to reach 100 volumes, and well deserved at the end of the day. Whether you like One Piece or if you don't, the fact that it's managed to hit 100 volumes is certainly something that everybody can agree is rather, well, impressive. And with it being volume 100, we get a lot of cool things. Like, we get the start of, well, the fights in Wano. And I believe volume chapter 1000 is in here. No, it starts on 1005. So volume 100 does not have chapter 1000. That's because they only do about 8 or 9 chapters per volume. But hey, it's volume 100, and I'm just so glad that I own this. I really am. I'm looking forward to eventually someday when I can maybe read it. And last, but in no means least, we have Yotsuba. Volume 15. Now this one literally just arrived today, and it's been about 3 or 4 years since the last time we had a Yotsuba volume, so the fact that we are getting another one, I'm just so excited. It actually just turned up today, so I actually haven't had a chance to even read it. Now, as you guys probably remember, I did actually pick this one up in Japanese a few months ago. It's actually up there on the shelf. I don't know if you can actually see it, but yeah, the quality difference between these is just like night and day. It's so much nicer than the Japanese one, but I'm not going to complain. I love this series so much. It is easily one of the best series of all time, and I'm always quite surprised that I don't see enough people talking about it. Why? Why are you not buying Yotsuba? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Seriously. Buy Yotsuba. You will not be disappointed. It is an all ages manga.